breaking news from WPTV News Channel 5.
Tonight, the Florida Highway Patrol is mourning the loss of one of their own.
FHP Trooper Joseph Bullock shot and killed today in the line of duty. Just a short while ago, this somber moment, this procession of grief at the Treasure Coast Medical Examiner's office, where his body was taken, escorted, as you see, by fellow law enforcement officers, the Florida Highway Patrol, car after car, vehicle after vehicle there, saluting as his body was taken into the Treasure Coast Medical Examiner's office. Law enforcement everywhere grieving his loss today. His family now with a void in their lives, and our entire community indeed grieving the life of someone who every day went out there to protect our lives and gave his own in doing so.
I-95 is shut down in both directions in Martin County because of the tragedy this morning. The highway is closed between Martin Highway and Indiantown Road in Jupiter. Trooper Joseph Bullock is a 19-year veteran of the Florida Highway Patrol. We have live team coverage, and we begin with WPTV News anchor Jay Cashmere. Jay.
Kelly and Michael, just a sad and tragic day out here on the Treasure Coast. We learned a little over 5 hours ago that 19-year veteran FHP Trooper Joseph Bullock lost his life, killed in the line of duty here after some sort of shooting occurred. We're expecting a press conference from FHP any moment now at the Martin County Sheriff's Office, where we're expected to learn more details about exactly what happened. What we can tell you right now is that both lanes of I-95 are closed at this hour. They've been closed for a better portion of 5 hours since this incident took place. Chopper 5 high above. We've learned FDLE is now conducting their own investigation, and all officers that are manned along their post here on I-95 have been told to stay in position until 6 o'clock. So not sure if the interstate's going to reopen after 6 or not. We know at least for another hour the interstate will be closed while multiple investigations continue. You mentioned at the top of the broadcast very eloquently, Michael, the moment of silence, the enormity of this situation coming to light. We witnessed that procession right here where we are standing. Dozens upon dozens of police officers, agencies, multiple agencies, motorcycle cops moving north here, escorting the body of their fallen brother to the Martin County Medical Examiner's office for a forensic review right now. Just really a powerful moment as you see a brotherhood, not just here but across the state, escort their brother in arms right now to a moment of peace. We have multiple team coverage right now. I want to switch things over to my colleague, John Shaman. He has more on exactly what happened hours ago out here. John.
Well, Jay, we are here at the southbound entrance to I-95, and as you mentioned, the interstate has been closed for hours. In fact, it was closed north of here at Becker Road. Now, we're at mile marker 110. The incident took place at mile marker 107, and again, we want to show you a picture of the trooper who was involved here. This, again, is Trooper Joseph Bullock, a 19-year veteran of the Florida Highway Patrol and an Air Force veteran, and he was assigned to Troop L out of Fort Pierce. And Jay, again, to elaborate on what you were talking about a moment ago and what we saw at the top of the 5 o'clock broadcast, want to show you video that we shot just a few minutes ago, and you'll see state troopers who are here blocking the interstate, standing at attention as that massive procession headed north on the interstate with the trooper's body on the way to the medical examiner's office in Fort Pierce. Now, we also have chopper video of the scene, and there was again a heavy law enforcement presence from throughout the region, agencies from Martin and St. Lucie County. We also saw the Martin County Sheriff's Office Mobile Command Unit at the scene. Now, a short time ago, the head of Florida's Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles said on social media that Trooper Bullock was fatally wounded in the line of duty while assisting the public on I-95 in Martin County. And we've heard from a number of people who witnessed the chaos around noon today.
It was just gridlock, and there were guys running around with AK-47s. Our police officers don't get enough credit, putting their life on the line every day.
FDLE, again, as you mentioned, Jay, has been called in to help with the investigation. Exactly what their role is has yet to be determined. And again, we're waiting a press conference to begin any moment at the Martin County Sheriff's Office, where we're expected to hear from FHP Colonel Gene Spalding. Again, I-95 shut down between Jupiter and the Becker Road exit in Port St. Lucie. Please use alternate routes as you get out and about this evening. We're live here along the interstate. John Shaman, WPTV News Channel 5. Jay, back to you.
John, thank you very much. Gridlock along all the side streets and roadways here along I-95 where this massive investigation is taking place. Keep that in mind if you are traveling north or south tonight on I-95, or you have relatives or people that you know that will be doing so. Tonight our thoughts and prayers are with this FHP trooper killed in the line of duty. As John mentioned, much more from FHP and the Martin County Sheriff's Office from a press conference set to take place any moment now. We'll bring that to you live when it happens. From the field out here, we'll toss it back to the studio.
Jay, thanks. And as we've been mentioning just a short while ago, the procession of the Florida Highway Patrol troopers honoring their fellow trooper, Joseph Bullock, that took place and was quite a sight, especially for those who were witnessing it in person. But even when you watched it on television, or we were streaming coverage at the time, it just touched your heart.
And all of this as he was on a call today, no routine calls today, so tragically ended, and reminded us once again that every day they're putting their lives on the line for what you and I might call just a normal routine call. Law enforcement scoffs at that notion. There is no such thing. And a trooper paid his life with that today. His family in grief right now, as is the community and the country. And again, showing up, we understand, perhaps to help a tow truck operator who had a concern, somebody who was becoming belligerent, and we're trying to get details on that. And when he shows up, that belligerence turns into gunfire directed his way, and we're still trying to find out about the shooter and get more, and we're being careful. We're waiting for FHP to talk about that. But for more on all of this, we go to WPTV News Channel 5's Dave Bowman with continuing coverage. Dave?
And Michael, right now I'm here at the Regional Medical Examiner's Office in Fort Pierce. It's actually on the campus of Indian River State College. What you're seeing right now is the wrapping up of a brief ceremony that was held by a number of law enforcement people here. Earlier, that emotional procession that we saw and was quite something to see. Very slow-moving law enforcement vehicles, from motorcycles to SUVs to squad cars, mostly from the Florida Highway Patrol, a lot of local police agencies as well, and escorting the body of Trooper Bullock to the medical examiner's office for the next part of the investigation, which will be to lock down the cause of death. But for a number of the police officers who are here on the scene as well, it was a chance to be together after a very, very difficult day of investigations, of traffic control, and it was just a way to be together and exhale and mourn the loss of one of their own. Reporting live in Fort Pierce, Dave Bowman, WPTV News Channel 5.
As we await that news conference and details about the events leading up to the trooper's death, our Contact 5 investigators looking into the history of officers killed in the line of duty in our state and nationwide.
That's right. Let's join now Contact 5 investigator Maris Badcock with those numbers. Maris?
Well, Kelly, the last time a Florida Highway Patrol trooper was shot and killed was in 2007. The trooper, Sergeant Nicholas Sotilli, who was shot in the chest during a traffic stop north of Lake Placid back in 2007. Even after he was wounded, Sergeant Sotilli was able to radio for help and alert dispatchers before he died. Sergeant Sotilli's killer was later sentenced to death. Nationwide this year, 13 officers have died in the line of duty, 4 of those from gunfire. That's according to the Officers Down Memorial Page website. Last year, 47 officers nationwide were killed from gunfire incidents as well. Now, Trooper Bullock was nominated for Trooper of the Month for his life-saving efforts during a traffic stop last September. He was just a few weeks shy of celebrating his 20th year with Florida Highway Patrol, the department where he spent his entire law enforcement career. Michael, Kelly.
Thanks very much, Maris. As we have been explaining to you, this all happened today, unfolded along a very busy I-95, and people who were driving on the interstate at the time saw this terrifying situation unfold. News Channel 5's Megan McRoberts joining us now live with one driver's first-hand account. Megan?
Yeah, Kelly, a very chaotic morning drive for 3 drivers, I'm told, who became witnesses to this incident. One of those drivers says that he, a semi-truck driver, and someone in a florist van pulled over on the southbound lanes when that witness tells me he saw what he described as commotion going on in the northbound lanes. They all ran across the interstate, and they say they saw what they then learned was a Riviera Beach police officer leaning over that trooper, appearing to render aid, see if there was anything he could do. They thought that they were running across to assist that officer, not knowing that there was actually still an active shooting scene. They say moments later they ran for cover when a medic showed up, freeing that Riviera Beach police officer to check out the scene, make sure there was no other threats, and they say gunfire erupted.
I mean, there was 6 shots. I mean, I heard gunfire first, and then I seen gunfire back from the Riviera Beach officer.
Yeah, that witness says he then saw that Riviera Beach police officer check the vehicle that was on scene being towed away. Then he scoured the scene to make sure there were no other threats. That's when he says that officer found the tow truck driver hiding either behind some trees or bushes. That witness says he also did have a brief conversation with the tow truck driver, who told him that the driver of the car being towed, this alleged shooter, was mad about not wanting to have to pay for his tow. However, the motive in this shooting is still very much under investigation. That tow truck driver also told the witness that he felt he too could have been a victim, but he says that the shooter's weapon jammed, giving him time to run for his own safety. Reporting live, I'm Megan McRoberts, WPTV News Channel 5.
And we're holding off on the status of the shooter out of deference to FHP. We've been developing information on the status of that shooter, but we'll wait for FHP's official confirmation on that. Nonetheless, all of this ending with the death of a 19-year veteran Florida Highway Patrol trooper.
I-95 remains closed at this hour from Martin Highway, or State Road 714, to Indiantown Road in Jupiter, and it's closed in both directions.
And of course, that's been the case since around noon when the shooting happened. The interstate closing, massive traffic nightmares created, of course, because of that. WPTV's Jillian Idle joins us live now with the latest on that. Jillian.
Michael Kelly, moments ago, they've gone ahead and reopened a several-mile stretch. That's at Indiantown Road to Canner Highway, exit 101, where we currently are. They've gone ahead and reopened that stretch. But once you get off in this area, you won't be allowed to get back on until after exit 110. Now, if you're heading southbound, the furthest you'll get coming southbound is at Becker Road. Of course, we'll continue to stay on top of this, bring you the very latest when it comes to traffic and rerouting here on WPTV. But for now, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Now, WPTV Chopper 5, First Alert Breaking Traffic.
Good evening, everyone. As Jillian just mentioned, we have had some movement in the last couple of minutes. If you are heading north this evening on I-95 through that Jupiter area, Indiantown Road, that's where those detours were earlier. That is now open, but it's very, very slow. In fact, those slowdowns hit quite a ways away, right around Donald Ross. So you've got some time to filter through that. The closure now is at Canner Highway. Here's the deal, though. It is going to be bumper to bumper once you get there. Same song and dance here for those of you traveling south this evening. That detour on I-95, Port St. Lucie, right around Becker Road. It is just tight. Real parking lot out there, 9 miles per hour, if that. We are tweeting updates as this story continues to develop. Of course, we're getting into the groove of the evening rush. We've got a lot of tweets coming in, some tips from you all as well, and pictures. We're letting you know where to get off. Keep in mind, a lot of those side roads are jam-packed as people try to dump off I-95. The Turnpike, US 1 is your best bet. Back